So today we're going to be building quite an epic crank. So I have had a bit of a trim, kept the goatee a little bit, something to play with. So we're going to jump straight in and get this crank put together. It's an awesome crank. It's for an upcoming bike later on. But I just thought I'd share with you building the crank up, and also we're going to do a little cheeky upgrade on this Trek at the end as well, which I've featured a few times. It keeps coming back for more and more upgrades. So it's getting one little cheeky upgrade, which we'll do at the end of this video. Anyway, let's jump straight in and let's build this crank. As you've already seen from the thumbnail and the title, it's a MIDDLEBURN chain set. So I love them. So let's crack on and let's get this all built up and done. Now, as you can see, we'll get to the chain rings in a bit. Lovely MIDDLEBURN crank, lovely condition. No real kind of, it's had a bit of a polish. So we can pop the non-drive side one aside for now, because we've got a few bits to put on there as well. And this, I'm going to give it just one last little bit of a polish, but got all that dirt and crap in there, so we need to clean that out. And also on the spider, that's looking a bit grimy, so we want to put all them for a bit of a clean before we start putting it all on. We want all that totally fresh, looking nice, and so on. So right, I'll quickly clean these and I'll speed this bit up. All I've got in here is a bit of just cleaning fluid, and we're just going to basically just give it a nice light clean around. So all right, speed this bit up. So with that now clean and that now clean, I'm just going to give just around that top edge just a bit of a polish, bit of auto salt, just make sure that edge is nice and clean. Here we go. So now look at that. Beautiful mirror finish. So with that now done, so put that away. We now need to get the spider attached to the actual crank. So what we're going to do is we get a bit of grease. Just use cotton bud. I'm just going to run just a bit of grease all around where that spider's going to sit on those little splines, but not on the actual threads. And all this will do is it will ensure that the crank doesn't creak or anything like that. So just all the way around there. Beautiful. So just a bit of grease, and then basically that's your spider. So you can slot that on. Actually, make sure I just wipe that bit of crap off there. Make sure there's no crap just on the edge of there as well. There we are, beautiful. And then you've got your spider on the back. Obviously that is what that tightens up to. Now that's nice and clean. You can see before where basically maybe someone's used not the right tool to kind of get that off. So we're going to use the right tool to put it on, but what I'm going to put on is just a tiny little bit of Loctite. All I'm going to do, let's make sure the bottle's open. Oh yeah, bottle's open. we're just going to put just a little spot. There we are. Don't need much, just a tiny little bit. That'll just stop the crank from working loose. And then we'll get that on. Now the correct tool for this is the Park Tool USA BBT18. So, and that will sit lovely in there. Now that don't need to be super tight, so we are just going to nip that up. Make sure it's nice and flat, so you don't want to chew anything up at this point. So make sure your tool is on. Alright, so well, that's tight. So now we can just wipe off that little bit of crap around there as well. Keep that looking nice and fresh and lovely. So now we'll need to start getting on the chain rings onto this. So for the chain rings, we've actually got a few different colours here. So we've got a black MIDDLEBURN small one, a red MIDDLEBURN centre one, and then kind of like a bronzy kind of gold colour top one. So really nice condition. And to put these on, we've got some fresh bolts as well. So pop them to a side there. And we're also going to fit the MIDDLEBURN self-extracting nuts into there as well. So let's get this on. So I'm going to do exactly what I did with the, I'm just going to basically just rub a bit of grease just around that interface, just again to stop creaking and obviously any kind of corroding in there. We'll do that for the back as well. All the way around on all of them. There we are. And then you've obviously got your little nipple just there, which that is going to go in, and that will drop nicely over like that. And then we can flip that over for now. And on the other side, again, you want to be making sure you're getting these the right way around, which it's hard not to, because obviously that's where you've got the recesses. Bit of marking on there, but that's not too bad. You're always going to get that anyway on these. So I'm going to put it so the 32 is basically, do I put that? Might put that at the bottom so it hides that behind the actual crank itself. So we'll slide that on. Now on some MIDDLEBURN cranks you get these like little washers that kind of sit in like that. Sometimes you can lose them, so just be careful of those, that you don't lose them. But as you can see, that's got all 5 in. So now we just need to get the crank bolts in. So I'll speed this bit up again. Here we are. So now we've got those on, looking really nice. Actually looks absolutely beautiful, to be fair. We'll now get the back one on. So let me get the bolts for these. So to finish this up, let's get this on. So I'll do what I did before. I just want a bit of grease just around where that chain ring is going to sit. There we are. Lovely. And then obviously you can see from the back here, the chainring bolts are going to sit in like that. So we'll make sure that that little bit there sits just behind, like that. And then we'll get these in. So I'll speed this bit up as well. So with your crank all put together, obviously I've only nipped up them ever so slightly. So what we'll do now is we'll run a torque wrench round just to make sure that they're correctly tightened up. So 5mm Allen key, and basically I'm going to set that. Then I'm going to try go around. So I'm not going to go around, I'm going to try and do it like a star shape. And all I'm doing is I'm torquing these up to 10 Newton meters. So I'm going to try and do it bit by bit like a star. I'll try and tighten them all up equally as I go around the whole thing. Right, that's clicked. That's clicked. That's clicked. There we go. And literally just torque check all of them. There we go. And then the back also. Here we go. So they're all now torqued up and nice and tight. So always make sure you wind your torque wrench back to 0 as well. And then now once that's done and that's looking lovely. Oh, to be fair, I should have lined up the middle chainring so it had the size 20 there, there and there. I'll have to swap that around. Oh, right, let me quickly go around and swap that around. Right, well, that was a bit of a pain. But as I always say, if you're going to do a job, do it properly. So now we're going to get these in, which will just top off how the crank looks. Now, the bolts are straightforward. However, you have these little rubber nylon bits that sit there, and they sit on the inside and then basically rub up against each other. Now, what I always do is, just because sometimes when you undo the crank, it basically binds up and then unscrews the actual outer part. So, bob just a bit of grease on and then slide that over. And what that will do is it will stop that friction, and there as well on top of that one, it will stop that friction on the inside of there. So basically what that means is when you self-extract the crank, for example, that is going to be nice and smooth rather than pulling this out and causing that to unscrew as well. Now, the same as the lock ring, I'm going to put just a tiny smidge of Loctite. Oh, yeah, you have to pull them up. There you go. When it wants to come out, that is. Don't need much, just a little bit. Rub that on there. And then you can just drop that in. Drop the nut in like that. Make sure that's nice and center. And then you want to get this in nice and straight as possible. Find that thread. There we are. Now if it's nice and clean, you should be able to screw most of this in by hand. Alright, so when you get that tight, basically you just need the pin spanners. Now I've got the old Park Tool one. Now when you're using this, you want to be careful not to go too ham-fisted with it and basically go all the way around, because that gets close to where that taper is on the crank. So you don't really want to basically kind of mark that in any way there. So, but a lot of the time these just go straight in. So I'm going to use one just to kind of get it most of the way in. And then when it gets to the point where it's tight, then I'm going to just basically nip. So make sure that they're nicely in their square. Basically hold that flat and basically nip that up so it's tight. And what I'm going to try and do is get that nice and equal. So make sure that's in. So now when you're looking at the crank there like that, that's as equal as it's going to be. Now when you self-extract, you've got that center bolt there that turns, and that will self-extract off the actual bottom bracket if you would need to take it off. So with that one done, I'll run through that one quickly, and then remove that. We'll give them one final spray down with some silicone shine, and then basically that's that job done, and then we'll get a cheeky upgrade job done on the actual track, and then we are done. That's that. I'm now gonna, where's the bit where I put some of that? There we are. So that's just some of that auto sole still, giving that just one last little polish down. There we go. So once all they're done, then I'm going to get some muck off silicone shine, which is great for repelling any kind of like dirt and stuff like that, so nothing sticks to it. I'm basically just going to give the crank general spray all over. And then I'm basically going to just give it one final last little polish all over, and then that is done. Beautiful. There we are. So that was basically a nice little cheeky kind of build up of a crankset. So that will now get wrapped up in bubble wrap ready for when a build comes along for that. Amazing, super light, super nice. It's not been chewed up by any kind of pedals or anything like that. It's a really nice, generally clean example of an older retro MIDDLEBURN crank. So love that, that's great. So the last thing that I'm doing today before I go in, crack a beer, sit down, chill out and watch film is we've got one cheeky little upgrade on this. So like I said, we've seen this loads of times. So what we're going to do is I'll give you a quick view of the bike, if just in case you haven't seen this before, because we've done a lot of work to this, and then we'll do the cheeky upgrade. So as I say, we've seen this bike loads and loads of times, and we've done many upgrades. We did the forks, because there was my original forks off the Kona, which are now on this. We've pretty much done everything over the time. Headset, all the drive has been taken off and cleaned at some point when we last had it on the channel. And all in all, just a really nice bike. We also upgraded and fitted the Hope brakes as well. So, and then it's got the nice Refinal bars on there. But today, because he wants to break up the colour of the bike a little bit, because obviously it's just got a really nice black and silver theme going on, we're going to take that race face stem off and get rid of it. So let's do that. So don't want to disconnect all the front end, but equally I don't want to take the stem off and the forks just go woof. So really nice, quick, easy thing to do is use a toe strap. So it's not going to cause no damage to the paintwork or anything like that. And then basically strap that up like that. That will stop them forks from dropping out and make the job a little bit easier and quicker. So we'll get the stem off. Well, we'll get the handlebars off first, get the stem off, and then we'll get the upgrade on. So that's off. Now what we've got putting on, Thompson stem. They're not cheap, but very nice, very nice. And this one is basically an absolute beautiful gunmetal grey one. Nice and straight. Brilliant, lovely. So that can literally go straight on. And then basically put it all back together the exact same way that we took it off. Torque it all up. And that's going to look lovely. So I'll crack on getting all this on. So just ensuring everything's straight. Now get the handlebars straightened up as well. Now you want to make sure with your bars as well that you've generally got an equal gap with this one, top and bottom. I'll just spin that around a few more times. So top and bottom, you want to make sure you've got an equal gap, and then basically nip it up slowly. Now this stem is only 4 Newton meters. So by the time we get back to this one, there's 4, add the click. There's 4, got the click. There's 4, got the click. There's 4 got the click. And then just go around. I'm just going to double check them again. There we are, nice and straight. Again, wind off your torque wrench. Job done. Well, there we are. Nice cheeky little video for you. And yeah, that's about it really. So all in all, today's a good day. Still haven't managed to get out on the cheap bike build off because it's there, and the cheap bike build off, I think I got knocked out in the first round. It's okay. It was all for the fun, all for the fun. On that note, the next video probably will be me going out on that and trying to ride it. Just had too much to do today. I had to go and buy my lad some new uniform, and I kind of want to just do a few little kind of sit down jobs. I needed to get these few bits done. I got other bits that I need to get done. So yeah, on that note, as always, thanks for tuning in, and yeah, appreciate you all. All stay safe as always, look after each other, and I'll see you on the next one. See you.